Heba here. So today we're taking out the Udaloy, and I'm sure you know, it is the tier 7 Russian destroyer, and I have an agile build on this ship here. You can see that from the concealment at 7.2 kilometers. So that means we don't have the concealment module on this ship. So before we get started, don't forget to subscribe, obviously, like, share, and please comment on the video if you have anything to say at all. Really, I read all the comments and I really enjoy it, so don't hold back. So Udaloy has less range and a longer reload than Tashkent does, but on the other hand it's way more agile. It's actually one of the most agile ships in the game. The turning radius is really small, and I believe I have a 1.1 second rudder on the ship here. And I play it like a tiny cruiser, really. It doesn't really fill that role as well as Tashkent does though, but it still does a decent job. But in the end, Tashkent and Khabarovsk, they are better picks if you want to go with this particular playstyle here on your Russian destroyers. So we're going straight for the B cap here, so we can get an early cap here to give us some tickets, because this is a 6 versus 6 battle, so the caps are extremely important here. But anyway, let's just talk a little bit about the auction, because it just finished, and I just went in there to check the results, and it turns out that I actually got what I bid on. I bid like 100 million silver on the 4 commendations, and I ended up getting those. I know it was a lot of silver, but I wanted to be absolutely sure I got them. And then the other thing I bid on was the guys, the auction lady guys, and I just took it out before, and yes, the tracers are gold, and they do look cooler than the existing tracers we have on one of the racing guys that also has yellow tracers. But yeah, I think these ones are better. So I bet 12,050 doubloons or something like that on the auction lady. Yeah, well, I got her, and I have no idea what everybody else bid, but I'm quite happy. That's fine. I have her now, and I'm gonna put her on pretty much every ship except for the British, where I have the funny guy with the green tracers. I forget his name. So I'm kind of curious to hear what everybody else bid on stuff in the auction, and if you bid on Elbing, like I didn't do that because I know the ship is going to come and be available as a global XP ship sometime in the future. Wargaming said that several times. So and we were also given the ship for about a week to test out, and yeah, I wasn't that impressed. Yeah, it's kind of interesting though, but it's not a ship I'm going to pay a lot of doubloons for. So those of you who did, let me know how much you ended up actually putting out in the auction, and if you actually managed to get the Elbing. I believe there was 5,000 versions of Elbing at stake. So if you got one of them, you can consider yourself quite lucky, and I'm guessing the ship won't be available until sometime in the next year anyway. So you'll be special out there in your Elbing, at least for a little while. I don't know if you remember the first auction we had. It's about a month, 2-3 months ago or something like that, where there was a tier 3 battleship at stake. It wasn't called the Prince Albert, but something very close to it. I always found that pretty amusing. But anyway, that ship, I can't remember how much, how many doubloons people actually ended up paying for that ship, but I think it was just around 20,000, around that, for a tier 3. And the Elbing is a few tiers higher than that. So like I said in my other video, I'm fully expecting that one to be quite expensive. Let's see. Oh, actually, I could be wrong about the tier 3. Maybe it was 12,000 doubloons. But anyway, it was a lot of doubloons for a tier 3. Now, I actually personally like the auction quite a bit. I don't think it's been used to its fullest potential yet, and I know it is early days. But I like the thought of, buying ships that are somehow going to be special and are ships that not anyone can get. Like really, the only ships we have like that in the game right now are the like the early alpha ships and the Founders Edition ships. I mean, those are ships that you simply cannot get anymore. And then we have the more rare ships like Lenin and Chambar, I guess you can call a little bit rare as well. And there's a few others, but those, like Shinonome for example, those ones you can actually pick up once in a while, and that means that they're never going to be like super exclusive. And I mean, I kind of like that, and that's pretty much the auctions. Well, the whole point of the auction, really, I think, is to put stuff out there that's in limited supply. And I mean, if you are a whale and you want to spend thousands upon thousands of doubloons for something that's a little bit special, then by all means go for it. I did that myself, and yeah, I think that probably 12,000 doubloons for the guys was probably a little bit much, but I really wanted it, and I wasn't going to let that one slip away. So I also just remember that there was the golden potato flag that started at 500 doubloons. So any of you got that? Just yeah, let me know in the comments, and what, if you want to disclose what bits you actually got it for, because I was wondering if that particular like golden potato flag would be pushed up into the high layers, and I would guess probably the lowest bid to get that one would probably be around 2,500 doubloons, is my guess. And I think the guys, the one I paid 12 doubloons for, is probably around 4 to 5 doubloons, would be my guess. And Elbing, I think, would be sitting somewhere just above 25,000 doubloons. Now that's my rough guesstimate. I haven't looked at any posts on Facebook or anything like that yet. I've only checked my own game to see if I actually got away with my auction bids. So at this point I have no idea what everyone else bid and how much they actually managed to get away with. So obviously I'm curious, so if you don't mind sharing the information, please do in the comments, and I can probably put together a video on it when I have enough information. But as it is now, I can only just have a look and say like, well, this is what happened to me, and this is how much I paid, and this is what I got. But I would like to make some comparisons with what everybody else did, really. So we can see how the auction is actually progressing, and if there's a lot of whales out there whaling away on the Elbing, or if it's a little bit more restrained this time, which I think it might be, because yeah, the tier 3 went for a lot of doubloons for a tier 3, and Elbing is going to go for more doubloons, but I don't think it's going to be 10 times as many or anything like that. It's probably going to be 50% more, something like that. 100% maybe, but then I think that's about it. So that's, if it was around 12,000 doubloons in my memory for the tier 3, that means Elbing will be around 25, perhaps a little bit over 25. That would be my guess anyway. And I can also say that a lot of you have asked when I will be streaming again, and I've been holding off streaming for a little bit because I was waiting to get a new setup, and that computer arrived today. It's like the new Mac, a lot more powerful, so I should be able to run like a flawless, a perfect 1080 progressive 60 frames per second stream. I have been able to do it before, but it's still been a little choppy once in a while. I haven't tested this Mac Studio out yet, but I mean, if this thing can't do it, then well, gotta have a PC then, but I refuse to get a PC. So hopefully the Mac can do it. I am also planning to set up more of a streaming schedule, so I don't know the days for sure yet, but I'm thinking I'll have 2 or 3 scheduled days per week with a a stream at a fixed time on those days. And like I said, I don't know the times or the days yet, and it's going to be a little bit tricky because as some of you know, I'm based in Australia, So hitting those, you know, sweet spots in the US and Europe are going to be difficult if it's not on the weekend. So we'll see how we go. And I mean, you can always watch the stream later if you don't mind. But catching it live, unless you live in Australia or Asia or India for that matter, or I guess the East Coast US, it could be a little bit difficult. But like I said, we'll see how we go, and we can always change the timings around if it doesn't really fit in with everybody else's schedule, I guess. But of course, I cannot please everybody. So just hang in there. There will be streams, and there will be many of them. But I just need to get the last technical details here in order, and then we'll kick it off again. So we are pretty much finished with this battle here. It's a really good battle actually in Udaloy. It's a really good destroyer. I really like it. Not as much as Tashkent, but I'm a big fan of it, and I don't see it out there a lot. So that's why I'm trying to show off its good sides here. And this was a 6 versus 6, and hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you out there.